When we got our camper, we bought it in the brilliant month of January, actually the end of January, like the 30th or the 31st of January. So we were so excited, and we started looking for places to camp, only to get on a couple of Facebook pages and some other groups, and discovered that if you hadn't started booking out your time for summer by January, that you were probably not going to get into a lot of those places, which was really sad to us because we thought, where are we going to go camping the very first year? We're so excited. We want to get out there. We want to do this stuff. And where are we going to go if all of the sites are booked? Well, if that's what's happened to you, you got excited, you got a great end of the year deal, have no fear. There are lots of camping spots to go to, but you do have to start thinking about it in the wintertime. The truth is, winter is not for hibernating if you are a seasonal camper. John and I are not full-time yet, and so that requires a little more planning on our part. How much vacation time are we taking? How far we want to go? What's the recovery time in between camping trips? You know, we have chosen, if we're doing a weekend trip, that we go no farther than 2 hours away. And you have to remember that when you're looking at the time, suggested distance time, like on Google Maps, that you have to add in another half hour or 45 minutes because you're towing a vehicle, and that doesn't include any stops that you might want to make. So it's something just to add in and be aware of what your limit is. In the summertime, you know, it doesn't get dark until later, but we've just decided that it just doesn't make it any fun if at the end of the weekend you're exhausted because you had a really long trip and you still have to put away everything and empty out the camper and do laundry. So just a personal preference on our part. So come this end of December, beginning of January, we start talking about where would you want to go? What are your preferred places we go to? And we pick a couple of them that are maybe, 5 hours, 8 hours away, and those will make our summer vacation time. And then the rest of them are all within kind of a 2-hour max. And here on the Front Range of Colorado, there's a lot to see in the Front Range. We have not seen it all yet. So what do we use? We have a couple of great books. One is this National Park Service Camping Guide. It's one we haven't utilized a lot, but we keep referencing it, hoping that something good is going to come up. We found a new one called The Explorer's Guide to Colorado. It has kind of like stories and stores and stuff like that. That's been interesting to look at. But our favorite has been John Fielder's Best of Colorado. And then we just saw this last summer, or right before Christmas, actually not last summer, in Costco again, the latest, greatest version. This book, John knows John Fielder personally, and it's just kind of hung around with us. As you can tell, it's quite beat up and quite used. It hung around with us for quite a while before we got the camper, and we never really utilized it. But once we got the camper, this has become our favorite resource because with my John being a photographer and John Fielder being a renowned nature photographer, especially of Colorado, he not only gives you the places, but he gives you here's the setup for this shot. Go stand across this road and look it through here. Which, I mean, as a photographer, you don't want to copy somebody else's work, but it's really nice to be able to see some of these vistas and to learn, if you're not a photographer, to learn how true professional sets up their shots and what they're looking for and what they're looking for in the foreground and stuff like that. But he just has a whole bunch of things in here. Hikes, jeep trails, things to know, restaurants that were available at the time that he wrote this book. This book has just been an incredible resource for us, and when we forget it, we're very, very sad. And then of course, our biggest resource is our atlas. So this is only our third year of camping, and again, we're not full-time, so we're really looking forward to getting to cross the state line this year. 4th of July, we're going to go up into Wyoming, and that'll be quite a long journey for us. So again, we're starting that planning, what days we need to take off, what is it going to take to get us there, and what is it going to take to get us back. So, each year you get a little more brave. Because we're not full-time, we don't spend a lot of time boondocking, especially if we're going to go after work and there's a possibility that you're going to be setting up in the dark. It's just not in our comfort zone yet to drive someplace that we don't know in the hopes that there will be a spot open for us. So we haven't done a lot of boondocking. We like to have the safety of the reservations at this point. If we had, an extra day or extra time that we could figure out where we needed to park or stay at the side of the road or Walmart or something like that overnight, then certainly we'd be open to that. And I think that will come with time and some experience. So I'm looking forward to doing more boondocking. We have a lot of BLM land here in Colorado, but the other thing we found is that you have to know the BLM land in order to find these spots, or you have to know somebody who knows the land. So again, we're looking forward. That's also time and experience, which we just haven't had a lot of at this point. So we spent a lot of time planning and looking and dreaming of the days when we can go longer and farther and not be so concerned about, this site having that much space or how much does it cost. And that's something that we aspire to and we know we will get better at as we go down the line. So again, winter is not for hibernating. Winter is for dreaming and, planning and where you want to go. And it's also time that we've started that list on the camper. Again, it's the beginning of February, so we were just talking today about all of the things that need to happen and when are we going to pull the camper. And usually in March in the Front Range of Colorado, we get several good snowstorms, so we can't guarantee that we'll be able to pull the camper on any given day in March because it could be several feet of snow. So while we can't guarantee when we'll be able to pull the camper, we can start, creating those lists. Like we know the bearings need to be repacked, and we know there's a vent cover that needs to be fixed. We know we wanted to pull out one of the bench seats on the banquette and put in chairs, and what are we going to do with the stuff that sits in that banquette storage area? So there are things that we've started thinking about, and it's time. It's time to do that. It's time to gather the resources and the money and the thought processes and start doing the price checking and all of that. So winter is not for hibernating. Winter is for planning, and winter is for dreaming, and winter is for gathering all of these ideas and the excitement, because in 2 months we will be seriously looking at camping. Yay! Yay! Cannot wait. Camping is coming.